Woke up this morning and I chose violence. Welcome back to Fog Entertainment, and today is 10 reasons why The Sopranos is overrated. Welcome back. And before we even dive into it, I actually want to make it clear I'm actually a fan of The Sopranos. I've watched it once and we are currently rewatching it, and we are towards the end of season 6. So, very soon I can say I've completed two watches of The Sopranos. Now, there is a lot of people out there that claim they've watched it 70 times, right? But I like the show. I just think there's quite a lot of flaws with it. And before we even get into this list, I just want to address something from the bat. I understand that with The Sopranos, I feel like you're getting a real life drama rather than a TV show drama. You know what I mean? I don't think things are turned up to 100 like certain other TV shows would. Like Breaking Bad feels like in parts it's solely like for TV purposes. Well, Sopranos feels like it could literally happen. And I'm not saying Breaking Bad couldn't happen in the real world, but there is a few things that are a little bit far fetched. I feel like most things in The Sopranos can happen. Like people could point to Tony's dreams and say, well, you know, do mob bosses dream of fish heads or rats and things like that? I mean, people have dreams. I have dreams, and you listening have dreams, and not just things that we want to achieve in life. Things you have when you're in your bed. Um. Anyway, let's get into the 10 reasons. Number one, there is far too many skippable episodes. I feel like a key trait of a TV show is it shouldn't really have any skippable episodes, right? Because the problem with that is that means there's wasted time. That means there's episodes that are a waste of your time and don't continue any sort of story, and therefore they're pointless, and therefore they're filler. And also, there's some episodes that just feel like there's just no point to them. Now there is like Pine Barrens, right? And on its own, it's a great episode. Of hell, it is one of the best episodes of the season. But if you think of it, like you never see like a direct reaction from like Christopher when Big Sal dies. Like we're talking like Chris is a important guy of the crew, right? You know, I know it's season 2 and all that stuff, right? But he's on his way up. Big Sal dies, and Sal and Chris had a good relationship. We don't even get to see Chris's reaction. And there's loads of characters that, perish or move away or, under a wee tree and some pine cones, all that shit. And it's like, there's just nowhere near enough reaction from other characters on the show for other characters' deaths and other instances. But for me, far too many skippable episodes. And there's a lot of TV shows out there that will have skippable episodes, right? But I think a good TV show makes every episode count, and it makes it and should make it feel like if you miss it, then you're missing out, and that was a key part of the story. And for me, that's why Sons of Anarchy is my favorite show of all time. A key reason, because you will. I honestly, I don't think there's an episode in Sons of Anarchy where the story doesn't advance something. I feel like in Sopranos, there's a lot of episodes where things just go around in circles. Like, a hit is a hit, for example. It's Chris getting into the music business, but it never really goes anywhere. We never see Massive Genius again. There's an episode, Pio My. Alright, it ends in Ralph's death, so maybe that's a bad example. But it's like Dr. Melfi, Employee of the Month, never goes anywhere. It's like these incidents just become isolated and don't mean anything. And I'm not saying incidents don't happen in real life and they get isolated and forgotten about, because of course they do. But that kind of ties into the fact that this is a real TV show. Reason number two, nowhere near enough arcs, right? Christopher always complained, where's my arc? Where are the arcs in The Sopranos? Like Fito being gay, that's an arc. New Jersey against New York, that's an arc. Adriana ratting, that's an arc. Big Sal ratting, that's an arc. The Jenny Sack joke, that's an arc. You look at someone like Silvio, right? What is Silvio's arc? 6 seasons, right? The consulary, the number 2 of Jersey. And what does he have to offer? He wrapped in Hall, my friends. Nothing. I think he has to be one of the most overrated characters in TV history. Yo, does he have some good lines, right? Does he have some good moments? Yes. But see, in terms of a fucking story and backstory and things like, what does he bring to the table? He has to be like the least developed character of the Soprano crew. And he's number 2. Reason number 3, continuity feels non existent. Like, you will have seasons where they introduce people and then they disappear for episodes, despite having a pretty important part to play in said episodes. It's like season two, Richie Aprile debuts, right? And then he'll miss like a few episodes. Junior, right, will have big moments and then he'll miss like a block of 5 episodes. It's just like, what are we doing? Seriously? Like, I just do not get it. And watching each episode by episode, it feels like a sitcom. When has there ever been an episode in The Sopranos where it ended and the next episode begins with a direct continuation of that episode? No, I don't think there has. Half the time you've no idea how long of a skip there's been. Sometimes it's been like months. Fuck, sometimes it's years, and you've no idea. Just time passes. Or is it time passes when you're having fun? And I think that's a problem. Continuity makes the viewer, it gives that extra attachment, like you know what's happening. You know what I mean? Like there's a proper timeline of events. And The Sopranos goes the wrong way. Reason number 4, lackluster deaths. Jesus. Like, where do I begin with this? Phil Leotardo, a lackluster death. Johnny Sack, again, like Johnny Sack, like look at his arc, right, in prison. Episode begins, he's got cancer, by the end of it he's dead. Like there's no like build up. There's nothing, it's just like, oh, he's dead. Sort of thing. Richie Aprile, killed by Janice. I thought that was a bit lackluster. It was very easy. Oh, that got rid of the Richie Aprile problem. Janice killing him. Christopher, fucking hell. Will you ever see something more lackluster? Jackie Aprile Jr. and Senior, very lackluster. Ralph, killed, very lackluster. It's even like the Russian in the woods. He just fucking disappears. Furio just goes back to Italy. Albeit they're not dead. Just very lackluster. I feel like The Sopranos struggles with deaths. Like, what are like the true great deaths of The Sopranos? I feel like they're not. There's not a lot of them floating about. Like there really ain't, especially to some top dogs. Reason number 5, Doctor. It's Doctor Melfi. Doctor Melfi becomes pointless. When I first started this show, I think I started watching The Sopranos during COVID. That's 5 years ago. Finished it in a couple of months, right? Reviewed it back then as well, but I had my other channel which they took down. And I could not believe that Dr. Melfi lasted the entire way for season 1 all the way up until season 6. I think that is absolutely mind-boggling. And Tony in the penultimate episode just decides, you know what, the past like 7, 8 years, whatever, has been fucking pointless, and walks out. And it's like, that kind of just sums it up. Is that a bigger arc around the whole therapy gimmick in real life that it is just a waste of time? Who knows? Is the true ending to therapy, is that the patient just deciding that, you know what, I don't need this anymore and it's a whole waste of time? Some people could argue that. Reason number 6, there is nowhere near enough action in this show. You look at it, right? Chase scenes, shootouts. There's nowhere near enough, and I get it, right? Chase scenes, shootouts, that brings heat. But you look at The Sopranos, right? The shootouts that I'm thinking of, Chris, when he gets shot by Bill Aqua and the other kid, right? The poker takedown, right? When New York go to the Bing and they drop like they hit Patsy and they hit Silvio, and also Bobby's involved in that scene as well, right? Car chases, I remember Tony chasing Phil for the money that he owed him. But see, for the fucking large part, where's like the action and shootout scenes? Alright, Tony in season 1, the orange juice gets shot instead of him. To me, that was fucking atrocious. Like, how did he not get hit? But like, it's just a lack of action. You know what I mean? And again, the Soprano fanboys and bumlickers, right, will defend this and be like, but it's real life. It's supposed to be, based on the mob. Not every day. It won't be cinematic. Not every day cinematic. But Jesus Christ, you're trying to do a TV show here about the mob, and I totally see both sides of the coin. I can see why people fucking hate this show, and I can see why people love it. I'm somewhere in the middle. Like, there's the dialogue. Honestly, some of the dialogue in this show, I think second to none. Could have the best dialogue in TV history. But seeing it comes to the action, when you think of the caliber of show that is, it could have the worst. And I think that's a problem. A big, big problem. Reason number 7, can be extremely slow. Yeah, like the pacing can just be entirely off, man, where they just do nothing for an entire episode. It's like the episode that we recently finished, like between Paulie and Tony, like they just lay low in Miami and Tony contemplates killing Paulie for like 50 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, that is literally it. The episode where he kills Chris, he goes to Vegas and spends a bit of his money. You know what I mean? That's just season six examples that I'm thinking of. There's other episodes throughout the seasons that where nothing happens. You know what I mean? And like you have to wait like a block of 5 to 6, 7 episodes for anything worthwhile to happen. Honestly, quite incredible. Reason number 8: lack of character development. Like I mentioned earlier on, Silvio, right? Why is Silvio hailed as this like fucking go to the business, right? Or iconic character. Right. See in episode one, the pilot, they clearly didn't know what they were doing with Silvio because there is a scene where he rocks up at Saltier's and it's almost like he's just a friend of the crew rather than he's actually number two. But Silvio from like season one right until he gets shot and he's in the coma in season six is the same fucking guy. You look at every other character, right? Like Junior, he develops. Tony does develop, but I think there's a case like that Tony is pretty much the same guy. And like I think killing Sal and also Junior and his mum ordering the hit on him, I feel like they changed Tony. But does Tony seriously have that much of character development? I mean, yeah, his breathing gets heavier in later seasons, but is that really what we're going to hold him accountable to? It's like Chris as well. Yeah, he goes from being like, the runt to being a captain, but he's a junkie throughout. He gets clean, he goes on the junk again. Paulie is pretty much the same guy that he was in season one. You know what I mean? But he just like loses his grip. Now someone like Bobby Bacaleri gets good character development, right? But even someone like Benny, he's been around for ages, feels like the same guy. Honestly, like, and I think good examples of character development are like Junior, who loses his head. Like I think AJ gets good character development, but it's easier to develop someone who was like 11 when the show first started, and then by the end he's like 20. You know what I mean? Because you grow up, the actor grows up. It's easier. Reason number 9: New Jersey versus New York took too long to start. Yeah, it absolutely did. No two ways about it. No two ways about it. It took far too fucking long, that war. It's teased for a while. Even like back in season fucking 3, it's teased like, oh Ralph, you beat Tracy. Then season 4, the joke, oh tensions, Ralph might have killed him even though I did it. Season 5, Billy, Philly, Tony B, Johnny Sack, the beef between who's going to take over the family because Carmine's dead. You go into season 6, John's inside, the button heads with Phil, Fat Dom, Fito, etc., etc. And by the time the war fucking starts, man, it's borderline too late. You're like looking at like episode 18, 19, right, of season 6, and I get it. An all-out war means top guys are getting hit left, right, and centre. And I'm not saying that this war should have started in like season 2 or something, but I think early season 6 or like at the absolute latest, like the mid-season premiere, like episode 13 of season 6, that could have been it. And reason number 10: the ending. Now, I understand the ending. A lot of people don't. Definitely a tie into the fact Bobby's like, you probably don't even hear it when it happens. Fade to black, Tony gets shot. Good, that's it. He just black, good night. But I can totally understand the logic that if you watch The Sopranos and you just felt like you wasted your time because that's the ending and it faded to black and you've no fucking idea what happened. It feels like a waste. Anyway, leave your thoughts down below. That's the top 10 reasons about The Sopranos. The ending, part of me don't mind it, but then honestly, I flip with the ending. It's like each time I see it on TikTok or whatever, I change my mind. Maybe when we finish this second walkthrough or playthrough or fucking watch through, I'll change my mind again.